Mixing with Mike plugin of the week comes from Antares. It's the Auto-Tune Vocal Compressor. The vocal compressor from Antares is a dual-stage compressor designed for modern vocal production. It gives you two separate compressors that work in series. You can set up just one, or you can set up just two. And it gives you four different options for compression type. FET, which is like the 1176. Opto, which is an LA2A emulation. Opto B, which is a TubeTech CL1B. And Modern, which is meant to be, I guess, a transparent digital compressor that you can process and set whatever way that you like. So let's go over the graphic user interface and a couple of other things. There's also an AI assistant here for getting up a sound for you. All you have to do is feed in a little bit of vocal, hit the learn button, tell it what it is that you want it to do, and it devises up a setting that you can accept or reject. Let's take a look at it, though. I want to start and focus really on the individual settings and go through that, and we'll take a look at the assist after. So essentially what we have here, we have the toolbar up here, undo, redo. We got our settings here for viewing tooltips and all of the other sort of stuff. The appearance, you could have a light or dark mode, etc. There's an on-off here for bypassing the plugin. Over here, you can set it up so you just work with a single compressor, or you can work with a dual stage compressor. Pretty straightforward there. You have all of your presets and all of that here. You can store your own presets, all of the usual stuff you would expect. Input level control, output level control. That's all pretty straightforward. Then you have two compressor units here and here. I'll get into those in a second. And then here is your AI assistant. This will allow you to select the vocal type. Anybody who's used Auto-Tune is used to this. Three different vocal types, instrument or bass instrument. You could select the compression type, minimal, controlled, or aggressive. You can select the style, clean, warm, and full, because it does have some saturation, harmonic distortion components in here, or gritty and energy. Hit the learn button. And one thing they ask you is to go to whatever the most dynamic vocal section is, let it analyze things there, come up with settings, and then you can accept or reject accordingly. So let's go over the individual compressor sections here. They are identical to each other. There are four options. The FET, which gives you the 1176 settings. There's a warm option. I'm not sure if that's a specific emulation of like the transformers that are part of the 1176. Input, output, attack, and release, giving you all the exact same settings as you would expect. Ratios, as you would expect. There is no all buttons mode. A little bit of a disappointment. Maybe that'll come in an update. There is the Opto A. This is an LA2A emulation. So you have the peak reduction control. So these are reversed from what it is on the original. That messed me up at first, but just be conscious of that. It also has a warm button, but it allows you to dial in how much of it, right? So I'm not sure, if that's a tube transformer saturation type of thing exactly. It's not indicated anywhere in the manual or documentation. But peak reduction, just the way that you would on 1176. The Opto B is a TubeTech CL1B, another Opto compressor, classic for vocals. Again, ratio settings, attack and release. There's no auto attack release, but more or less that is the fastest attack and release time, and then there's a little bit of auto sensing magic that it does in between there. It also has a warm setting, so you have some options there. Output gain and threshold. Pretty straightforward there. The modern compressor adds a couple things. You have the normal controls, your ratio. It adds a knee control, which is great. So this gives you some hard knee, soft knee capabilities. Attack and release, as you would expect. Threshold. But it also gives you the ability to apply a high-pass, low-pass filter to the sidechain. The high-pass filter is fixed at 100 Hertz, 24 dB per octave. Low-pass filter at 7.5K, 24 dB per octave, so there's no moving it around. And there's also a filter here. It's hard to get the exact information. As I understand it, it's a filter that follows around the fundamental frequency. So it uses their pitch tracking technology. It follows it around, and then the filter follows that around. And what you end up with, what I found with this particular thing, is that it makes the compression a bit more responsive because it's not lingering or being gummed up or held up by, say, lower resonant frequencies or even I'm not sure if it filters on the top. I think it just filters on the bottom. Again, it's hard to get clear indication on that. The way they describe it is that part of it is also meant to be used by an external key, so you can key externally here. This can be used for a variety of things. It could be used for ducking, ducking effects, ducking another instrument that might be interfering with the vocal, maybe an acoustic guitar that's also pan center. You could have it duck a little bit when the vocal sings just to lift it out in front, that type of thing. Otherwise, you could just operate with the internal side chain. Either way, it does have an effect, internal or external, and you can experiment with that. This section is identical to this, so all of the settings are the same. What I want to do here is just kind of go through and dial it in, because one thing you can do here is you can set up a FET setting, an opto A and B setting, and a modern setting, which is what we're going to do, and then we can ABCD them and see which one we like, and kind of pick one out, which is one cool thing that you don't get a lot with very many compressors that have multiple options like this. So let's start with the FET. We got a vocal right here. I'll solo it up. Let's listen to it as is, just a little line or two, and then we'll pick it up and start to dive in.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead.
Okay, so let's go here. Let's do our normal dial in. So as with the 1176, this is fast attack, slow attack, all faster than a millisecond. Release time, I think at its fastest is like 30 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, somewhere in there. And then it goes over a second, 1.2 seconds, I believe. That's just off the top of my head. I could be completely wrong about that. Got the ratios here. Essentially, you go from softer knee to harder knee. So you get a more aggressive compression, and you may get less consistent results with the compression. It also lifts the threshold as you switch between the different ratios. So you can get a sound. Now, this is a pretty straightforward vocal. It's not really going to be something that we're going to want to slam. So I'll stay here on the 4-to-1, and let's see if we could drive some compression in this way. I could drive the controls here. I could also move them this way. You see they're interactive, complementary, right?
Who I've been is not who I am.
So on the gain reduction, we have the input level, output level, and the gain reduction meter. You'll see the amount of gain reduction down at the bottom. Okay, be nice to have a little bit more resolution in there because you don't need to see necessarily 60 dB of gain reduction, but that would be cool. Maybe input, output, put the gain reduction after. Maybe in the update, we'll see.
Who I've been is not who I am.
Slow down the attack here.
Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared to love again.
Okay, so that's our FET setting. All right, pretty straightforward. I like the warm setting here. Let's go to the opto, see what that sounds like.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. left a trail of tears, lived in fear and now you're scared.
Let's see what the warm option sounds like. This comes with a knob here, so.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead.
That sounds pretty good. Let's see what happens if I crank it up.
Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care.
It also adds gain, so.
Left a trail of tears, lived in fear and now you're scared. To love.
A little bit too much saturation. I kind of like just a touch of it down here. Let's kind of go back to that.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead.
Also sounds quite good. Let's go to the Opto B. The way I like to work with this often is just a fast attack release, low ratio, low threshold. Let's see what we got.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear and now you're scared.
Maybe a little softer on the attack there.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care.
4 good options. Okay, let's go with the modern. The modern, this is kind of cool because one technique that I like to do for vocals is to set low threshold, very light ratio. Now this is 1:1, but if I crank it up, it does start to move, but the numbers don't move. Be nice to see the resolution there. Fast attack release, couple dB of makeup gain, and let's see what we got here.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead.
I can also use the auto tune. This it's hard to A/B this in and out, and one of the reasons is that it you have to change the threshold too. So let's see if I can set it up for both here.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear and now you're scared.
Now I have a little bit less gain reduction here, but you can hear how open that is, much more open that is sounding to me.
Who I've been is not who I am.
Really brings that to life. So now we have 4 good options.
Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been ready wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared.
So out of those, I probably like the Opto B. So let's roll with that and then put one on the back end of it. Maybe since we have a sort of faster attack and release, something that's sort of evening things out, maybe on the back side we go with the Opto A. So this would be Opto and Opto, but let's see what it sounds like.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared. To love again. You run away.
Let's hear it in the track.
Who I've been is not who I am. Been walking this road where no one's dead. Been wrecking homes, breaking hearts without a care. Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared. To love again. You run away from me, from me. The past is hard for me to get away from. Those things I've done, I know they can never be undone. Still I'm wrecking homes, broke your heart without a care.
All right, so you get the basic idea and how the workflow would go. Really cool. Set up your settings here, have a secondary line of them. It'd be nice if you could copy them all from one to the other and then A/B. That might be a cool update and some future revision. But I really dig it. You could also get far more aggressive with it and then do the wet-dry control thing to sort of balance it in. And otherwise, really cool. I'm going to bypass this for a second just so we can hold on to that. And then I want to do one other thing here. So I'm just going to go to the default settings here for a second. And we'll just do a quick assist. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick something that's probably a bit more dynamic.
Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared.
All right, so let's say that I got the right voice type. Let's say I want to do something warm and full. Minimal compression, maybe controlled is probably a little closer. Let's learn and see if it comes up with something.
Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared.
Ooh, okay. Let me try a different vocal line. See if that works. One more time.
Still I'm wrecking homes, broke your heart without a care.
Okay, 0 for 2. Let's try
Left a trail of tears,
line down here.
so you run away.
0 for 3. I'll give it one more try.
To love again.
Okay, 0 for 4. Let's try the minimum and clean vocals. Try that. I've been able to make this work pretty consistently, but it, I think it may probably rub up against, maybe because I was going to the high frequency vocals where he's way in his upper range here. So let's try this one more time.
Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared.
There we go. Okay, so here we got some settings here. Let's apply them. All right, so interesting that ended up like way down here, but let's just see what it looks like.
Left a trail of tears, lived in fear, and now you're scared. To love again.
It's pretty minimal, the compression there. Let me go back to it earlier.
Those things I've done, I know they can never be undone.
Strange that it would come with the game. Maybe this needs a little bit of work. Again, I'm not a big fan of the AI, so maybe I have a little juju on this that it's not making it work as consistently. I've actually gone through and done aggressive settings with it, and it's come up and worked pretty well. Let's just to show you that, let's just try it and let's just see one more time. Go the heavy route here. Let's see if this works.
Still I'm wrecking homes, broke your heart without a care.
Okay, all right, 0 for 5. Okay, so maybe this is just not the right vocal for this. Maybe there's something that it's not liking. Maybe I need to drive the input level. That I don't understand. Again, I'm not a big fan of the AI thing. I think for the most part, it can help give you something, but I think there's a bit more intelligence and sophistication involved in general with all of these things. That's why I'd rather kind of personally dial into settings. But I understand somebody who doesn't have the experience wanting to kind of dive in and use the AI assistant to kind of give at least a good starting place that you can tweak from. And for that, I suppose it's valuable. Work with presets too. That could also work. All right, I'll wrap it up here. Really cool one. I think it's worth checking out for sure. At least worthy of a demo. It's nice to have all those things dialed in. They actually, all 4 engines sound really good. So compiling and having the multiple options there all in one plugin is great. I will almost always use more than one compressor, most of the time 2, and for a vocal. But, it also depends on the nature of the vocal and how well it was recorded. So there you have it. Plugin of the week from Antares, the Auto-Tune Vocal Compressor. Check it out.